I came here because my choice was simple. Live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.
People say that the Stanley Cup is the most exciting playoffs in sports. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NHL, has a can't-miss offer for the final showdown in hockey.
Want to earn $100 in free bets no matter the outcome of your bet? Look no further than DraftKings Sportsbook.
New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $100 in free bets, no matter what, win or lose.
All customers can also turn a small bet into a big payday with the same game parlays. Create your own parlay by combining multiple bets like which team will win, how many total goals will be scored, and more. It's your shot at an even bigger payout.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code SMOKE. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win and get $100 in free bets no matter what. That's code SMOKE at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
Welcome back to another edition of All the Smoke. Jack, it's been a good day, man. We've had some good guests, some great conversation.
Great way to finish it.
And we get to finish it off strong. Oh, your mic.
Great way to finish it.
Blame it on the weed, not his heart.
That's right.
We got a special guest, man, fresh off Coachella, someone we look up to, learn a lot from, and it's an honor to have him sit down on this couch with us, man. Killer Mike, welcome to the show, bro.
I appreciate y'all,
yes.
man. Don't let the boy take you too seriously. It's my birthday, 420, and I'm in
Yeah, come on,
celebration
man.
mode.
Yeah, we got him a haircut in here. You know what I mean? We took care, and you came and got pampered. We want to take care of you, man. Make sure you have a good conversation. Yeah.
Look forward to, man, what y'all did for me today. My goal is to take to every NBA arena, man. We have a swag shop.
Okay.
To the house
I know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's blossoming in State Farm Arena, but I want to be in all of them. I want to be in Dallas.
Talk to us what that's, explain to people who aren't familiar what that is.
Well, usually, you know, as a man, you go to a barbershop, that's the 1 hour a week it belongs to you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. If you are a hip woman, because a lot of women come in, get their eyebrows, get their face, that's the place where you ain't got to worry about arguing which points of who's shoving it to not, because you coming in there, you running the floor. So barbershop's a special kind of culture. It really is a country club of working class men. And I thought that you should be shaved, washed, and groomed there. Total, you know. So me and my wife started barbershop about 19 years ago near the Atlanta airport. It grew to Edgewood Avenue, which is like the bar district in Atlanta. Got invited to go in State Farm. And our aim is to make that 45 minutes to 1 hour a week you get just about you. Come in, listen to dope music, get a shot, get a straight raise, shaver, hot towel on your face.
Yeah.
You and your son come in, add to the culture. Next week, you might have a T-shirt with something you said on it. You know, do a profit share with you.
Hell yeah.
It is meant for the people, by the people.
There we go. We got a violator. Yes, we got some cushions. And it's your people, too. So just so we know.
Yeah. You got to hit the cushion.
If your phone makes some noise, you got to do some cushions.
25 boys.
We need 25.
No, we'll give you 10 because you're a guest. But yeah, we're gonna
take it too.
No, we'll do it after. We gotta get on camera. We gotta do it after. But you good.
Right, shouts out to Big Bear Lope back there, man.
But the shop is so successful, man. You know, I live in Atlanta. His shop's so successful that motherfuckers tried to vandalize it and tried to shut it down just because it was doing so much business and was appreciated so much by the community. They tried it.
Well, I mean, it's like you grow and say, man, the devil stay busy. It's a young man, unfortunately, man, who's played with mental illness, and he just kind of cracked. He's kind of fixated on me and a couple other people, but you know, I just pray for him. But I really pray for him because the community didn't appreciate him. You know, and he's not as melanated as we are, so he kind of stand out in the crowd. Right. I wouldn't want that to happen to him.
I feel that. We just mentioned you just came back from Coachella.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Man, we hadn't been for 3 years. We had been on pause. We when I say we, I'm in a rap group. Some people don't know. So it took me 10 years to become overnight success. And I just say that because a lot of times a player, you might go to a team you don't want to be with. Mm-hmm. But you build something in your team, it changes something in your character, it grow you that journey. Then you might pivot and get traded to someone else, so you might bring a championship there and change the culture there. My career was like that. I came out in a real big way with OutKast, and a lot of great things happened to me early. And then I chose to go the independent route. So about 2011, I met a guy named LP. A guy named Jason DeMarco put us together. He was at the Cartoon Network at the time, or Adult Swim. He put us in a room together. He just said, man, y'all should be working. And it turned out to be like putting Ice Cube in a room with Chuck D and the Bomb Squad, you know, with Chuck saying, you should work with the Bomb Squad. And me and L created an album called Rap Music. This is the 10th year that record came out. That record changed the trajectory of my career. You know, the year before that, I had a song called Ric Flair and Rolling Stone that was like top 50 songs of the year. And I was like, man, you got to keep pushing. That year, that album hit, and it hit in a way like, won't. Like, this is another Killer Mike. It's not just a guy who is a protege of one of the greatest rap groups in the world. This is something new. Right after that, LP and I decided to do essentially what was a mixtape called Run the Jewels 1. Run the Jewels 1 put us in rooms where we were doing 300 to 500 people, but it was consistent. Then all of a sudden, after a couple months, from 300 to 500 turned into 800 to 1,000. You go back, you do Run the Jewels 2, and now you Run the Jewels 3 and Run the Jewels 4 brings us to opening for Rage Against the Machine for their reunion tour, which will take us through April of next year. It has us in midday at Coachella both weekends, and it has us marching back out in our own solo shows and festivals. Well, duo shows and festivals, and then 10 years after rap music and 9 years after forming, Run the Jewels, we one of the most toured bands in the world, and it's just amazing, you know what I mean? So I'm blessed, happy to be here, and that's why 420 gonna be a lot more of a turn up with me, because we got Coachella after this in a few days.
Beautiful, beautiful. You mentioned during your set, we need to change this country. Can you elaborate on that?
We do. We don't have to fight 20 years to progress 2 years. So there are certain things that we could do. You know, with everyone right now raving, oh, the Biden administration is potentially gonna get federal decriminalization of marijuana. Sanders would have did it in the stroke of a pen by taking it off the list. And we need to start insisting that people that we vote for or support from a local level up. So I say a president's name because they get your attention.
Right.
But who's your prosecutor? Who's your mayor going to appoint police chief? Who's your city council person? Who's running for Senate right now in Atlanta? You know, in terms of Georgia. Who's running for Senate? Who are you going to support and why? You know what I'm saying? You got to start saying this. Who's running for lieutenant governor? Everyone knows that Kemp and Abrams are probably going to fight it out in November to see who's going to be governor.
Right.
But we have a young man running for lieutenant governor named Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa is running, and Kwanzaa wants to decriminalize instantly. He's for a more progressive marijuana stance. Well, what does it matter, Mike? You get to smoke. Anyway, you rich, ain't nobody tripping. Yeah, but more than smoke, country folks got land.
Yeah.
You might have 50 acres. You might have 100 acres. We might have 400 acres between us. That qualifies us to get government grants and laws and considerations to start growing hemp. So if I never get high again, I'm still gonna need some hemp rope if I'm going to tie my boat at a fishing port.
Right.
You know, I'm still have the opportunity to make money. So we should be focused on those things, and we should be pushing the line on those things. So when I say this country needs to change, we can get fast about our shit. You know, where I'm from, if old people told you to go do something, you got about the business of doing it then.
Right.
Or a switch got hit to you then. You might have to walk and get the switch. And what I'm saying to black folk is, and working class people, period, you need to start requiring the pace that your grandparents required of you when you were a child growing up in the South and mosquitoes bit you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, call somebody country in there tell you. We don't have to wait. We live in a country where the state still kills people. And oftentimes we figure out it's wrong. So I'm just saying, until we get that perfected, let's not kill people. No matter the crime. And trust me, there are people I feel like should be dead. But a man in South Carolina gets to choose whether he dies by electric chair or firing squad, and he chose firing squad. We have a record called Letter to the Firing Squad. What would you say to the firing squad? And that record, I challenge y'all to go listen to it. It's a great record. I think y'all will find some solace and peace in it. But I thought about this 2022, man. And there's a man sitting here deciding, if I'm gonna die by. And a lot of people say, oh, man, well, that's right. But man, if someone in our family has done something terrible, somebody you love has done something terrible enough to die for. By another cultures, there are things in Islam you could die for. There are things in Christianity you died for. Look how the Messiah died in Christianity. He hadn't even committed no sins. He just protested banks and said human beings are above the state. So when you start to really think about our country, how Christian we claim to be, how tolerant we claim to be, how liberal we claim to be, if you hold it up against the mirror, you can say we probably need to change things about ourselves. And I love the country. I've my people have been a cornerstone of this building in this country. So
Right.
we talk about me going to Frederick Douglass High School and understanding the importance of that. Makes me very proud to be a part of the lineage of this country, but doesn't mean we can't do better. And I mean some immediacy.
Let's go talk about Atlanta.
Yeah.
You're growing up in ATL. I've been living in ATL 20-something plus years now.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up there, but it's home now. I love the city, but talk to us about Atlanta, your upbringing.
Man, you know how you go on your press, your media runs, you from where you from. So you go on your media runs, you think everything's like that. I didn't realize being Southern was major different.
Yes.
And I didn't realize being Atlanta, intensified some of the difference. Tell y'all something, a lot of folks in the South, they don't bother with wanting to make people to accept them. They accept themselves. And I don't mean cross color.
First and foremost.
Period.
My granddad knew who he was. My granddad's about your color, your kind of house. He knew who he was. He didn't care what you thought of. And if you insisted too much, you was gonna get some pushback. My grandmother, they say when she was a girl, she preferred working in the field. She didn't want to be nobody's cook and stuff. But I realized how much we meant to her when I realized she cooked for us. So she said, I have a responsibility to these children. But I grew up in a neighborhood called Acaria Heights. It was founded in 1946 by Black people, for Black people. Everybody lived there, from Dr. King's parents to working class folks like my grandparents. And what I learned was, when Dr. King said the content of your character, I really understood it. Because my grandparents and the people who lived around me didn't give me a boogeyman to be afraid of. Now, we knew we were competing because we got told, I didn't have 3 white teachers my whole life. That's how Black my world was. So we got told very early, their kids in North Fulton, that's code for white folks. And they right now, they're not playing in their classroom. So we had a sense of honor about being, and when I say we, I went to school with 1995 NCAA champion UCLA Cameron Dollar, now coaches up in Seattle. I went to school with Stanley Pritchard, played for Miami Dolphins, Atlanta Falcons. Robert Hicks, my best friend since kindergarten, played with for the Buffalo Bills. Get past athletics. Chief Judge Oscar Jackson of DeKalb County, Dean Raheem Biab, Georgia Tech. Like, I went to school with some heavyweight kids, man. But we was just working class kids. But we got a healthy sense of being competent and confident really early. So for me, when I blossomed and got out in the world, I didn't realize all Black folks didn't grow up like that. And I didn't realize the world didn't operate like that. So it took some adjusting for me once I started getting famous, I guess, and started moving around. But it's been cool. It's been a cool ride, man. I appreciate Dre and Big for changing my life, because I got into Morehouse. Stupidest thing I could have done was drop out. And there I found myself, looking around, working at AutoZone, like, shit, my life, man, fucked up. And Toyin, in particular, Big Boy, championed me to Dre and Regina Davenport, who was like their product manager at the time. They gave me an opportunity to change my life, and the ride started. And I've been on a 20-year run thanks to mentorship with people like Pimp and Bun, Ball and G. I just want to show a lot of reverence for people like, Tony Draper, Jay Prince. Like, it's a whole history of when people say, Mike, you smart, you're not like Southern rappers, other kind of country shit they say this. I think it's almost insulting, because I didn't grew up under the tutelage of some of the greatest people ever. Like, I challenge people to just, man, go back and listen to old Southern discographies. Like, the music has been 100. You've been getting lessons in the music. Like, the shit you can fuck around and learn listening to, even at that time, like what Too Short was saying on records.
Right.
And Too Short was saying, be about your money.
Yeah.
It was like a million. Even that one from the South, it was linked. The Bay Area was linked. I think the South and, the Third Coast movement and that stuff had a lot to do with putting me here. I love the music, love my upbringing, and just proud to be here today. Probably stoned and talking a little long, but we kick it.
No, we're supposed to. We need it.
That's how it goes. How was it growing up with young parents?
Oh, man, thank God they didn't raise me. I told that lady, yeah, man. I told that lady that, boy, Denise, I told her, the old lady on the other side, Ray, listen, y'all kids out there fucking, man, hey, man. Hey, slow down, man. Enjoy your life, man. My girl used to say, stay child as long as you can. My dad would say, each child put you back 10 years financially.
Yeah.
Man, so you have to, watch yourself. I messed around. My dad had 4 children. I did the same thing. I ain't mad, but the amount of work I've had to do to support them, and the time it took away from them. Like, I'm bringing all my kids out to Coachella for the first time this weekend.
What's the age range?
The youngest one is 15 years old. Her name is Michael. And then I have a son named Pony Boy. He's 20 years old. I have a 24-year-old daughter named Anaya and a 28-year-old boy named Malik.
Okay.
And the thing about it is you get to working so hard, you miss parts of the growth.
Yeah.
So that's why I just want to tell young men out there, that birth control, boy, see if you can get on county services, get you some for free.
Yeah.
Out here to tell you, boy, they'd have birth control, whatever, well, shit. I would have been a fucking young fucker, but
I would have been in the game.
yeah,
you feel
man.
it?
I'd have been a billionaire right now.
Oh, what you talking about,
I'd
man?
have touched $1 billion right now.
You ever counted up what you paid?
Man,
I done paid $500,000 so far. I know that light money for you.
I might pass out.
I done did a half, man.
I got 5 girls, 2 boys.
Ooh, you expensive on the run because you love them, so I know you buy them everything.
Oh my God! Please don't remind me, Mike.
But
Please
then also got a couple baby mamas too. That's a whole.
That's the whole downfall there.
Yeah, man. You can't get. Yeah, I will say this though. We understand the tactical advantage to the advantage when we be advantaging. You know,
No question.
That's how we can. I told my daughter, her ex-boyfriend, I told him I liked them both as kids, but as a child, you don't never think it's gonna last. Well, you tell them it ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
Because you usually don't, but you gonna remain friends. But I told him, I said, hey man, now I'm gonna tell you, she in a great situation because she got me, she got an auntie, she got a loving mama, grandma. I say, you mess around and get her pregnant, she gonna be straight. I'm here to tell you now.
Yeah.
But she gonna get pissed because you got good health. And if y'all ain't together, she gonna go down there, she gonna put your ass on one of them things where they gonna tie you up. I talked to him like a plate, like a homeboy to homeboy.
Yeah.
So thank God they didn't never do that. But I tell my children, stay my child as long as you can. I don't before you have children. Because my parents were 16 and 19 when I was born, and my grandparents were 54 and 44.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God my 44-year-old grandmother wanted another child, so I was just hers.
Yeah.
By the time my mom married, I have 2 dads, I'm blessed with 2 fathers. By the time she married my second father, and my grandmother just told him, go figure out how to be a wife, and I'm gonna raise him. And then when my sisters were born, she asked if my sisters be able to be raised. And so we've known our grandparents all right. We had an RV. We got to go to Florida and Tennessee. We got to go on church trips. Our mama, man, she was young and working. We was like, man, thank God we ain't have to be, we weren't latchkey or nothing. My grandfather asked my grandmother she was a nurse. This is a lot of women, I be hearing all the arguments online, but all my teachers were married to working class men. So all my teachers had degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But the men they were married to were plumbers and carpenters and locksmith owners and stuff. My grandmother was a nurse. My grandfather controlled dump trucks, which was good money. You're driving trucks and whatnot. But I just want to encourage us, do that. Do some of that, look outside your level or whatever the fuck that means. Because my grandmother could read, write. My grandfather was functionally illiterate and could count any money just spread on the table. So they balanced each other well. But I remember when he came to it, he said, hey, and this is like, if you watch Snowfall, this is when the crack era was starting to explode. And she said, I want you here when the kids come out of school. I don't want you gone. And she did that until we were old enough to kind of see after ourselves. But I really kind of learned a lot from them, and I'm glad that I saw that because my parents were so young. My dad's and I say, y'all really was good at was fucking and fighting. That's what y'all did. You know what I'm saying? But my grandparents, I got a chance to see 2 people
stable home.
But beyond the stability, I got the chance to see people tease each other, disagree with each other, but love each other. Go to bed every night.
Love each other.
Love each other, and they were united.
Yeah.
Whatever you ask my grandfather, well, I'm gonna talk to my wife about it first. Even if he had his mind made up, and was just gonna tell her, hey, this is what I decided. You were never gonna get them, ununified. And I've tried to model my own life and marriage after that. I try. My wife might disagree some days. I try my best.
Yeah, we all try.
Sweaty Sack Summer.
Sweaty Sack Summer is approaching, and it's time for you to prioritize the comfort of your crotch. That's why the kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, has spent 2 years to design the most comfortable boxer briefs out there.
I've had the honor of testing out these new boxers, and I can say it's the softest fabric of any underwear. So breathable that it's like gills for your groin. They even trademarked the jewel pouch, so you know it's serious.
Let's say you're on a date with your partner and she catches the Manscaped on the waistband of your underwear. It's almost a guarantee to raise some eyebrows and act like a billboard on the highway to Pleasure Town.
This is thanks to their Lawnmower 4.0, the best electric trimmer for the below-the-waist grooming. This trimmer offers skin-safe technology designed to trim hair on loose skin.
Outside of just the ball trimming, they're now focusing their efforts on helping out your thigh slappers and in other ways with game-changing boxers. The boxing features include the jewel pouch, a pouch designed to cradle your boys in their own special place, lined with the perforated performance fabric to keep them well ventilated. Basically, just imagine your balls sipping pina coladas and chilling on a hammock on a tropical beach.
The micromodal fabric is butter soft and breathable, keeping your cucumber cool. Walk, run, strut. These Marshall wicking boxers breathe without breaking a sweat.
The tagless waistband hugs your body without digging in, and it lays flat against your skin to reduce chafing.
The front fly opening gives easy access and makes bathroom breaks quick and efficient.
You can choose from arrangement of designs and colors and sizes that range from small to 3X for all my guys out there.
Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code SMOKE at manscaped.com.
Again, that's 20% off plus free shipping with the code SMOKE at manscaped.com. Once the Boxers 2.0 touch your sack, you'll never go back.
When did music come into play?
9 years old. Fat Boys, Run DMC.
Cool Rock Ski?
Fat Cool Rock Ski. Come on, man. I'm talking about, man. I remember, man, I missed the Fat Boys.
The human beatball.
Come on, man. I saw Lil Me. I couldn't break dance. I couldn't figure out the backspin. I was like, fuck this shit. I ain't rerun. So I say, man, I could probably do that Cool Rock Ski, though.
Yeah.
But when I seen Run DMC, though, man, them black denim suits, which Run the Jewels we rock, them black denim suits and them chains, and they look like what I was liking outside. I was like, that's it. That was it. And just the whole Def Jam run with what they was able to do when they rolled out LL Cool J.
Curtis Blow.
Man, Curtis Blow and stuff I looked at like my mom's stuff.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So like Salt and Pepper, Curtis Blow, Houdini. My mom she was a hustler. Like, so her and her homegirls was the fly girls. She listened to that. But when it came to like just that stuff that was 808 was hitting, it was more aggressive. I was just like, man, it's me. And then when I heard 6 in the morning, I was like, this is somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, 6 in the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeaking across the bathroom floor.
Mm-hmm.
Out my back windows where I make my skate. When I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was a movie. And NWA, of course.
Ice-T.
Ice-T. And then when I heard Cube, and then the greatest rapper of all time, Scarface.
Yeah.
When I heard Brad Jordan, my life changed. Like what he encompasses as an MC is so underappreciated.
Facts.
In terms of, he's had a career since 87 and never dropped a whack album.
Never.
Like, not even debatable.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When you arguing Scarface, you arguing Scarface against Scarface. I've argued with Scarface about what is his most classic album. We've argued over that. Like, he said, one record, and I'm like, nah, fuck that. You got this record, Brad be laughing like, how you gonna tell about my music?
Right.
I'm like, because I'm a fan. But what he was able to do, I used to buy those tapes, me and my boy Mark, man, and Rico and Kim, just to listen to the J Prince intros 5 times before you let the rest of the tape play.
Every album.
The wisdom you was getting, you know what I'm saying? So as a kid, just hip hop at 9 years old, I got turned on to it. By the time I was 12, I turned out. It was what I was about. I was gonna be a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna figure that out.
Yeah, me being from Texas too, I know how important Scarface is, not only to the rap culture, but to us.
Yeah.
He definitely the god, the golden part in Texas, I mean, as far as rap. And so many rappers that come up now to this day that's way younger than him. If you ask them who is the man in Houston, they all gonna praise one person.
Jordan, man.
You know what I'm saying? Brad Jordan. And
you go to listen to all your the people you call your GOATs, have all nodded to him.
Yeah.
M is nodded to him.
Mm-hmm.
Dre and Big of OutKast nodded to him. Jay-Z is nodded to him. Like, man, the stuff him, Jay, and Beans did, like, I think that every generation should always be reminded to go back and listen to Brad. The same way you may know Coltrane, but you have to be reminded sometimes, go back and listen to that Love Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
So you really understand, like, what jazz can do. Go back and listen to some Thelonious Monk. Go back and remember that it's a culture. It's not just a moment. It's not just what's hot now. There is literally a culture. Boy Meets Girl, man, that record, my wife, me and her ride sometimes, and she plays it. Like, we ride sometimes, we ride in her Benz, we'll play some Sinatra, we'll play some Dean, we'll play some Nat. We try to play some alternative stuff besides just what you hearing on radio or what even I'm doing. And she'll always, on the ride back, play that Boy Meets Girl, where it's essentially about a stripper in a deep water, talking about cocaine, heroin. Man, but it's such a beautiful story. It's Shakespearean-like, the way he tells it. You know what I mean? And so I think just as an MC, man, he's like high art and fine literature. Even musically, what he's done in terms of producing, in terms of, we know Mike Dean, and many of us, for the sound, he's helped Kanye craft.
Right.
Well, Mike Dean is also the co-crafter of that.
Yeah.
The cornerstone of what that Rap Lot sound was when he and Face when they're doing together. So you even hearing Face, in my opinion, his reach going even beyond lyricism into just production and sound.
Yeah, I got 2 or 3 songs with him that I spent like maybe 2 days in studio with him.
Man.
And just picking his brain, and then we shot the video. Remember we shot the video about Donna Sterling and Scarface. So and nobody wanted to speak about it at the time, but he pulled it out. We gonna do it.
Yeah.
You're a basketball player. We gonna speak on it. But he dope, man. Dope.
Yeah.
You touched on earlier about attending Morehouse. What was that experience like, and how come it didn't last that long?
I was the most beautiful, beautiful time in my life, man. Ambassador Andrew Young, former mayor of Atlanta, man, created a scholarship to me in, and all I had to do was read his autobiography and get inspired by it, and I did it, told him what I thought about it, and he and his former wife, his current wife is Carolyn, his former wife is the late Jean Childs Young, who taught my mother and mentored me and was just an amazing human being, as is Andy. They made sure I got in Morehouse. That and working my butt off and getting my grades up my final year of high school. And I met Nasilo Reddick there, who's half of the Beat Bullies, who produced Kryptonite, who introduced me to Big Boy. So I was supposed to be there. You know, I met friends I've had for life there. But I knew after the first year that I was like, this is not what I want to do. Not that I didn't want to graduate Morehouse, because I promised my grandmother I would, and I still am. But I was like, I don't want to be doing this now. I really want to be in the music industry. You know, there was so much opportunity growing in Atlanta at that time. You got Eric Sermon down there, Wu-Tang, fucking had a store down there, Too Short was living there. It was just, opportunity was everywhere. So I was like, man, I'd rather go about the business of figuring it out. Dumbest decision I could have made. I ended up getting a record deal the same year I would have graduated. You know what I mean? So I encourage you, brothers and sisters, if you're in there, just stick in there, you know? And if you can't get in there yet, just go to trade school, spend them 18 months in there, come out making top dollar and still go. You know what I'm saying? But I just, I really dropped the ball in making that decision. But, you know, I'm stubborn as shit. So once I made the decision, I wasn't gonna quit.
Stuck with it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna let nobody tell my grandmama, I told you so. Now, so she got a chance to call all her friends and said, I told you so. And say, you see my baby, he got a Grammy, baby. He got you can come see it if you want to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That made me feel good. You know what I mean? Because I know she called some shit for that one from me.
Yeah.
Definitely. First impression of Big Boy and Andre.
Man, these niggas rich. Big had that Lexus, man. He had that Lexus. Dre had that goddamn run that on. I thought, what Dre had? Dre had a Cadillac first. He had like a Land Cruiser or some shit. Them niggas was wearing them fucking Jordans. Like, niggas wasn't just wearing, these niggas rich, man. Like, god damn, these niggas rich. But, you know.
They was getting to it.
I really, man, I'm gonna tell you what my thoughts are like. Dre was artsy as fuck. He was kind. He was humble. He was very intuitive. He was a good person in his intent. You know what I'm saying? But you could tell he was like an only child. So he wasn't with too much of all the hanging shit. Like, he would hang out, but then he'd be like Batman. He'll fade out. He'll ghost out or something. You know what I mean? So you ended up being around Big in terms of studio and business more, and I got a chance to see, like, oh shit, this is what it's like to be young and lead. You know what I mean? Like, because he had an opportunity to lead, and he stepped up in terms of business. He got business, I think, before a lot of us did. And whether it was a dog kennel or now having trailers for movie production and stuff, I was always impressed with his maturity from a business standpoint. Both of them were geniuses, money, because Dre's mother, God bless her dead, Miss Sharon Benjamin, was just an incredible woman. And, you know, it took one mishap of some tax stuff, and they both tell the story of going on the run, getting that money up on, you know, and never, you know, falling in arrears of any type. And it was because Dre's mom was just a genius about making sure their business were taken care of. And I watched her to do that, and I watched Big mature into a hell of a businessman. So I've always been, it's like Jamal Mashburn. Like, a lot of people can play basketball. A lot of people made a lot of money. But Jamal, watching his interviews, seemed to have caught early that this is going to end one day.
Yeah.
And I should be planting some seeds right now that are going to grow. So I've always been impressed by that. And from an artistic standpoint, just OutKast as a collective, man, I've always been impressed, and I've used it in terms of being a member of Run the Jewels with, don't let shit define you. Like, I remember Bun calling me, telling me one day, like, the beauty of what y'all boys have is it's undefinable. So do whatever the fuck y'all want to do. Y'all ain't got to be locked in the sound. And that's what I learned from watching Dre and Big together. And I got a chance to watch them together from AT Aliens forward.
Yeah.
And seeing the way they worked, it's just been amazing. And I'm like everybody else. Like, I want to see OutKast tour like the Rolling Stones for the next 30, 40 years or so. I want to be able to take my kids to an OutKast concert.
You think that'll happen?
I pray. You know, all you can do is as a fan. Hope they did it for us a few years ago. So you know, maybe again.
Big not just doing dogs. He got owls now.
Yeah, he got owls. I think he got tigers. He got like $80,000 French bulldogs. Like like let's see, seeing ahead of the curve around the corner is an understatement.
Especially with them dogs.
Yeah, $80,000 dog, man. I pay $80,000. They better have a motor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And gold teeth.
Yeah, for real.
The whole world. You won a Grammy for that. How did your life change after that?
Took some anxiety off, like if I'm ever win one, because I won one and I know I rapped my ass off. Like, that's my thing. Like, if I would have just been like on in the background, you know what I'm saying? Nah, I rap. I stood up. Folded up my motherfucking verse. I was in the game, so but I want more, man. I think Run the Jewels deserve. So that's my focus now. Like, as Run the Jewels, you know, as Killer Mike, what am I gonna do? But that decision to stay in the studio and that night showed me anything is possible when you're willing to work. Everybody else went to the strip club, I think. I think everybody else was hanging out, and Big was like, you might want to hang around and see about getting on this one, because I think somebody else was scheduled to get on it. Maybe Gip or something. And I hung around, I dropped the verse, and when they came back, they told me they was keeping it, and something else was supposed to be the single. And then they called and told me it was going to be the single, and Brian Barber, shouts out to Brian, shot the video, and life hasn't been the same since. You know, I can say with the ups and the downs, you know, there's always been somebody at the front of a restaurant that remembered the video they like me in, you know, so whether I was up or down, this song served me pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
You had a chance to be on Blueprint too with Jay-Z. How was it working with Hov?
Man, I can honestly say I love the God, man. Hov solid as they come in terms of the times I've dealt with him, because I appreciate the way he's dealt with me. He's never dealt with me as overused, never been condescending. I remember after we did the verses on the Blueprint 2, I remember when he called Big on the bus, say, hey, I want you to jump on this record with me. And Big said, well, you know, I don't know if Dre doing. He said, no. He said, I want you and the young boy. You got over there. Killer Mike do jump on. So I was like, oh shit. I just went to whatever the flip thing was at the time. I just started writing, you know. That was when I still wrote. The verse was probably double that. I just used the section I had. And Shanti Dawes took me up to meet him, chopped it up with him, walked me through his studio, chopped it up. And I was like, I got the verse. I'll drop it when I get back to Atlanta. Did it in Atlanta, popped up, it's on there. But we were in MTV, and I seen him coming, a whole bunch of people around him, you know. And these not like, you know, fans stuff. It's the people in the office fanning out, like this Hov in the building. And I was just letting him walk by. I didn't want to bother him. He said, oh, you ain't gonna speak to me? So I put you on my record and everything. It's one of the funniest moments of my life, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I would imagine it's like a vet when you a rookie, you know, you coming out, I was say, hey, man, you ain't gonna talk to you boy today? I was just overcome with graciousness for him. And he's always been like that, you know what I mean? So I like Hov a lot. I really respect him a lot. I respect the inspiration he's given other people to become businessmen.
Absolutely.
After winning a Grammy, working with Hov, you dropped your studio album Monster in 2003. When you dropped that album, you felt like you had already made it?
No. Because this is I went gold, but this is in the era when people selling 10 million records.
Yeah, going double
But
platinum.
I thought I had Flop and Bun. That's what a guy named David at Columbia Records told me about the profit and loss sheets, showed me where I had actually profited. And Bun hit me and said, that's a good thing. You don't want to be in the loss section of the label to handle you this way. So Bun really walked me through a few years of trying to indecisiveness. Do I want to stay on a major label? Do I want to? So by the time it came around, I think Virgin made an offer when Jermaine was over there. I walked away from the offer. I think they was offering me like $120,000 advance and a charger at the time or something, right? And I think I pressed the line on them about the charger. Like, shit, y'all ought to get a nigga a car too. You know what I mean? The lean with it boy got a car, you know what I'm saying? I was just trying shit. I was like, I seen the other nigga. But they did it, but I really didn't want the deal. And I remember Bear coming to me every day like, Mike, man, they offering you, like, you know, they put another 30 or 40 on what they was offering you. And I was like, I just didn't want it. And I was like, I think I'll do better doing it this other way. Now, I didn't know the other way was going to turn into the Iliad.
Right.
She was a fucking Greek, fucking Iliad, you know, just... I didn't know I was going to lose people to death. I didn't know one of the first grind time producers was going to get life in prison, you know. I didn't know that friends was going to show themselves to be foes. I didn't know I was going to lose, you know, I'd fall out with my friends who had changed my life with a record deal and take years to me. I didn't know all that. But I can say coming out the other side, getting the opportunity to repair those friendships, getting the opportunity to grow as a leader, to grow beyond what you think a boss is, to really bet on myself and win, and to have the pleasure of telling you know, one of my trusted attorneys and my friend who says, man, I couldn't believe you walked away from 120 grand. So I said, yeah, that's about what I get on a date, damn. And him just giggling. I'm like, so I turned away from a show. And him being proud and saying, I'm glad you had the fortitude to do it, because it's scary, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's scary. And it's not all, you know, I'm not one to say the labels are bad, because I heard Gunna say something incredibly intelligent, man. And he's a smart kid, but you get so used to just hearing him jam. It's a pleasure for me to see him do interviews, because he's a brilliant kid. Him, Thug, Savage, like brilliant kids. Atlanta, sometimes you be so busy jamming, you don't really realize you listening to a brilliant mind too. But Gunna was like, man, you look at the label. When he was talking to LeBron, he's like, you look at it like a partnership. They're taking a risk on you too. And now the artists have gotten more savvy in terms of getting their masters back and things of that nature. Now lawyers are bullying up for that. But when LeBron say, you know, you come to rookie, you take the rookie contract, say, but after them 3 years, you make them dump. You bring a dump truck. And that's to take a certain type of confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and I had that confidence. Again, I didn't know it was going to take the years it took. But man, I wouldn't trade it because of the wisdom I gained.
Right.
And on the other side, the person and the human being I am is much more stable with what I have than I would have been at that time.
Where did your love for music come from? Who did you idolize?
Cute, Face, in terms of who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know, Roxanne, Shantae. In terms of my love for music, though, that just come from being Southern. My grandmother would take us to these small little Pentecostal churches. They ain't got no air conditioning, hot as all can be. But the rhythm section, the same rhythm section. The same rhythm section that was playing in the club the night before, you know. The same folks that's playing at the gambling house. Your grandfather got you at the shot house. So I fell in love with blues and gospel first, because that's what I heard, because that's what they played. And then I fell in love past blues and gospel. I started listening like big band, jazz, things of that nature. But my mom, when my mom left, with my grandmother, I'm living with my grandmother, my mom left me a record collection. Like Curtis Mayfield, Isley Brothers, you know, Shaft soundtrack, Superfly. She just left and she showed me, you know, how to put it on. And I just sit in a dark room and just listen, and still do so. You know, music is just in my bones. It's what you do. It's whether you cleaning up, whether you're getting around, moving around. You know, just usually if I get up, the first thing I'm gonna play is some gospel or some blues, and we get to rap by noon.
Not Jack.
Not me.
Jack got the shoot 'em up bang bang on at 6:30 in the morning. I said, Jack, it's too fucking early for this, bro.
UGK, ESTG.
That's gospel though. I mean blues. I mean, you talking about pimp? Poet Pimp may tell
I
me.
stay paid.
Come on.
I live late. Y'all know about Pimp C, man.
Man,
How we come up with the name Killer Mike?
I did. They just not even giving me. I would have been like Fly Fat Boy or something. You know what I was battle rapping, and a dude named Double D stood up after I had went through about like 10, 11 dudes, just like, man, this kid's a killer. Say Mike's a killer. And then next week I came,
Killer Mike.
all the New York dudes called me Killer or Killer Mike, and that was it. That's what I've been ever since. I figure I earned it, so you might as well keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's not, who was Double D?
Double D's a DJ, some famous DJ in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, that's Double D. Yep.
Okay.
Then ran through all the strip clubs, man, lit them up, man, and been one of the most famous names DJ in the last 25, 30 years in that city. We got great DJs in Atlanta, from Funky, DJ Cutmaster Swift, who's OutKast official DJ, is my homeboy, but we got too many names. DJ Toomp, who created
Beehive.
with T.I., Beehive, but Toomp and T.I. created the trap music sound here.
Yep, DJ
so
Toomp.
The DJ is very important, from old Miami culture, of course, Memphis culture, of course, DJ Screw, Houston culture, Texas culture. Like, the DJ is still very important in the South.
Greg
so
Street.
shouts out. Man, come on, man.
The legend.
The legend, man. My real friend.
Yeah, man.
Street will call you at 5 in the morning to give you life advice.
Facts.
Fishing. Oh, man, rest in peace, K. Slay.
Rest in peace, DJ K. Slay, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad I sent him that verse, man, back in December when he wanted it, man.
Yeah.
What pushed you to join T.I. and Grand Hustle in 08?
That's my friend, man, and I just, you know how you be on your ass for a minute and you start to get up, you like, man, if I can scale up a little bit, I can do a little better. So him and Jason Jeter, I just asked, man, can I do some distribution through y'all? I need some help. And man, I remember telling Till, like, man, I wish I did this shit a few years ago. And he was like, shit, all you had to do was ask.
Right.
And that's really what I started to really understand, that you have advocates and allies, and the closed mouth don't get fed. So if you need something and you know you can do the job, just ask. You know what I mean? And Tip has been a friend for over 20 years at this point, but that really taught me, you know what I mean? And if you in need, man, ask your friend.
How cool was it to get your pistol and your fist gesture in the Marvel comic
That
artwork.
shit was dope as fuck.
Talk to us about that.
I mean,
He said, you see the way he grinned?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Man, forever 12 years old, man. I believe in keeping that 12. You know that 12-year-old, when you 12, 13, I'm sure at one point, you ain't know if you like basketball, toys, girls, or comic books. You ain't know what the fuck you like the most. You was just like, all these things light my fire. So really with the comics, it's like that for me and L, man. Like, to be featured, man, and therefore, like, get the fuck out of here, man. It's like, you want to go back and tell the 12-year-old, hey, all this shit gonna work out. I promise. Listen, the girl with the big titties, you gonna marry her. Don't worry about that. Listen, the comics, nigga, you gonna be in them. And you be rapping, my nigga. So,
Yeah, that's dope.
so, man, it's just a 12-year-old with me. Happy.
Yeah. You touched on it a little bit more, but I want you to elaborate. You talked about going on tour with Rage, and that'll start when?
Man, that starts, we out of here in June.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go over to London. I think do 10, 11 dates over there in Europe, and then come back over here, take the continental United States by storm, take a break in the winter, then get back on there and go through next April.
So it'll be a whole year.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank Rage, man. You know, they one of the greatest bands in the world. You know what I mean? So it's comparable to someone saying, well, yeah, y'all going out and opening for OutKast. So it's a beautiful thing.
I was put in a position with George Floyd, that I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't educated or nothing, but you one of those people that I look up to that's always been educated, that always spoke your mind, but the difference between when you speak, you know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? I just admired you from that standpoint. I want to know what was going through your mind during that whole process. You ain't ever met me, but we had text before through the publicist before, and you gave me some great advice. But what was going through your mind during that whole time?
Again.
Again.
You know, again and again and again. You know, first of all, man, I think I just want to appreciate you for your transparency through the process. I want to appreciate you for being willing to stand, because, you know, people think a lot of times because you don't speak a certain way or you don't know a certain thing or you haven't come up through certain channels, you don't have a right to. Fannie Lou Hamer wasn't taught to speak in college. But you don't know, you know, Google Fannie Lou Hamer. You know, Reverend James Orange, who was my personal friend and taught me to organize, who was played by the brother Omar in the movie Selma. You know, this is who taught me, the person who stood next to Dr. King taught me to organize. You know, brother was a brilliant brother, man, was a statesman, a spokesman, but was salt of the earth, Alabama. And I just say that because you have people like Teslin Figueroa out there that are working their ass off. She's right down there in Houston right now. You know, she's Air Force trained veteran.
I'm a big fan of her.
Big and she's salt of the earth and speaking, educated. You know, she can talk up or down, however you want to do it.
However you want it.
You know what I mean? You know, but the brother Crump's doing his thing. But Teslin, I'm particularly, I look at because she's a person that we need to be surrounding like Deborah in the Bible.
Right.
When she starts talking, we all need to be paying attention. We all need to be supporting her, because the beautiful thing about brothers like you stepping up and bringing the capital you bring from being an admired athlete is, if you look at this like Rome, if you look at a movie like Gladiator, the people that are running us are the people that are the Caesars and the senators. If you notice, their clothes don't get dirty. They don't give a fuck. They're an oligarchy. Look that word up in this country. We are the people in the stands cheering for you guys on the behalf of whatever nation state. Kill them, we're in Texas. Kill them, we're in Georgia. Who runs the Southeast Conference, all that shit. But oftentimes, the oligarchy of that class tries to get us to forget your individuality. You're just supposed to be beast and a member of a team that I'm cheering for blood for. But what you do, what Jim Brown did, you know, what athletes do when they do this, is they stand up and they bring the attention and focus to what needs to be focused on. And then what we have to do is what they did in the 60s, what they did as far back as Rome, and what we should be doing now is after we say our truth, that this is wrong, something must be done about it, pass that motherfucker like a no-look to people like Tesla. Because she has the facts, she has the stats, she has the numbers, and she's gonna nail their motherfucking ass to the cross with you. Because that's what organizing is. You are a mobilizer. You're supposed to be there. Your heart and conscience told you to be there, and you're doing the exact same thing that Dr. King did when he had become so big. He couldn't be there on a weekly meeting every week. That's what Snick was doing. That's what Stokely Carmichael, John Lewis was doing. King was going around rallying, making sure bread was getting bread for the bread basket, making sure that numbers were up in other places. still organizing, but his part of it was the mobilization of getting people there. And that's what your presence does. That's what your voice does. And that's why we need more athletes to be properly informed by the people who do the work first.
Right.
So get informed by your Teslans, get informed by your organizations that are doing the work. Then we know what our points are to say, us as athletes and entertainers, we say that, and then we pass that ball like a no-look to the people we're supposed to be leading the way. So I think you did an amazing job. Like, and I've always wanted to tell you that too.
I
Like,
appreciate it.
like
That's dope.
you know, you don't know, you brought a seriousness to it that didn't allow people throughout the South to bullshit, and people paid attention. You know, and I say that because where we've seen that a lot more.
A lot, yeah.
Than people, you know.
That means a lot, bro. Cause like Bun said sent me some important words. He sent me a text before I went to Minnesota. And he was like, "Everything you've been through built you for this moment." And he wasn't just talking about Port Arthur. He was talking about the brawl. He said everything. So just to hear that from guys like y'all who I look up to, it mean a lot.
Absolutely. Well, y'all well done, man. And everybody, y'all follow Teslin Figaro, and she's
dope.
Yeah, she don't take no shit. Don't say no stupid shit to her. She'll clown you.
Yeah,
She on there.
She knows what she's talking about.
Y'all need to get on here. Y'all have on here?
No, we haven't yet.
Y'all got to get. She was on the Ghetto Boys podcast.
Yeah, she's dope. Yeah, I follow on Instagram.
You say you feel like you have to be politically active.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Cause hey man, politics affect me. I pay a lot of taxes.
Yeah.
Don't we pay about half it when we making taxes?
Yeah.
So y'all already, the athletes makes $100 million. You're like, that nigga bring home 50.
47.
Before you start talking about child support, alimony. Like, so because my money pays for the suits. So I want to know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
And I mean that on a very local level. You know, the best news I woke up to last week was to see the mayor of Andre Dickens, who's from my neighborhood. There really was a groundswell that brought me over to support him. Brother like Zach, who got the restaurant Local Green down there. You know, my man Fahamo Paku, famous artist down there, both friends, was like, check this guy out. Already knew him and loved him as a city council person. Got down with him. I was with Kasim at first. Kasim got knocked out of the primaries, got behind Andre. We got Andre in there. One of the first things he was doing was taking care of parks and filling potholes.
Yep.
Like you don't know what that means to a neighborhood that really came out and for years had been a quiet, peaceful neighborhood. All of a sudden, potholes standing up. Your grandmother's mad. Your young cousin with the rims mad. But he started to fulfill the promise. You know, he started, and that's a very little thing, but he said he was going to do it.
To some people, that's big, though.
That's a big thing, and he did it. You know, when I look at our Republican governor, who appointed a Democrat over a committee that is specifically in charge of making sure that people who are getting out of prison have basic minimum needs so they're not increasing the recidivism rate. That program comes directly out of a black Democratic judge named Asha Jackson, who went to school with me, superior judge in DeKalb County. That young woman created a program to direct people out of jail and through a system over 9 to 12 months that put them back on a course for a solid life. Got picked up statewide because a Republican saw the value in it and appointed another black woman. You get what I'm saying? So for me, it's pragmatic. Because locally, you just making deals. You trying to make it work, but make sure the community gets something out of it. So for me, all politics is local. It's sexy to argue over who the president was and who you think is racist and all that chump ass shit. But I'm from the South. We've dealt with a lot of racists. You know, Lyndon Baines Johnson was a Dixiecrat. But in the South, I believe
return on that local level.
Yeah, exactly. I believe that locally, that some things can be done that are going to make places like Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Alabama, Tampa, Florida. When you start, Jackson, Mississippi, and Jacksonville, Florida, I think you can start seeing those places get more progressive and to become more equitable in terms of money. And I don't mean giving nobody no money. I mean giving us contracts. You know, if I own 10 tractor trailers, I can own 100 tractor trailers. And if I can own 100 tractor trailers, I can get the government contract to move oranges up and down Florida's coast. And why shouldn't it be one of us?
Right.
We done was labeled on the farms picking them. Our fathers taught us how to drive a truck. All we have to do is be organized enough to have a collective to say, now, if we make up this percentage of Florida, then these percentage of trucks should be higher. So in Georgia, it'd be 35%. You know, we get less than 2% of the statewide contracts in Georgia now. In my lifetime, I'd like to see that move to somewhere between 7.5% and 10%.
2%, wow.
Yeah. But we got to target those things too.
Right.
You know, I put up something on my Instagram last week. It was a brick and mortar class. All the students in it were white. So that means we should be bringing back brick and mortar classes. We should be bringing back carpentry classes and mechanical drafting to schools named after Booker T. Washington, for schools named after Frederick Douglass. for schools named after C.L. Harper. We have to start thinking that intent. When they talk about building infrastructure, they're talking about building highways. They're talking about refurbishing curbs. They're talking about building roads. Your sons, and I'm talking to black people right now, can do this work. Lil Junior may not make the pros, but his strong ass can lay some concrete. And he gonna get paid $100,000 or better for doing it. He gonna still be able to buy you that car. He gonna be able to take care of them children he make because he look like he dressing like a dope boy even though he going to job. He's gonna be able to have a stable woman and house and marry that girl he had them kids by. But he's only gonna do it if we start making sure these boys are in trade school as early as 16 years old. That's all.
Those streets get them.
I noticed the other day, I follow a guy named Mr. Checkpoint and always film the police. Good dude, man. Talk to us a little bit about that because he was so proud when he had you. He posted what you said about him on his Instagram.
Started following this little crazy white boy out of California.
Crazy.
He's crazy as shit, and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah.
And I think maybe his aunt or his grandaunt or grandmother would feed the meters when he was younger. So someone taught him justice early. Citizens, no matter what you think of your politicians or government, it is always the government against you to some degree. Well, Mike, what do you mean by that? The government ain't doing that. Anytime you get a speeding ticket and they just say, well, we're going to charge you or pay you for that, that's not about saving lives and making you slow down. That's about adding additional taxes to your life, in my opinion. If we know you got to park to go in a state building, if I got to park to go see to my county commissioner, why do I have to pay?
Right.
I already pay taxes.
Right.
And if you set up a punitive system that makes me have to pay $100 or $25 even because I didn't feed it with $2, you're making $23 off my mistake. So someone in his life was a justice warrior, and he has turned into one of epic proportions. He does everything from feed parking meters to ask policemen why they don't have their video cameras on.
He's a beast.
Police have having to literally come up with counter ways. This is me, sitting here just like amazed that he's been able to cause this much rowdiness with just a camera phone, but showing people how unjust the law can be. And well, not even just the police, the rules. Because a lot of times cops don't want to. Cops just got the right to smoke weed in some place. I think New Jersey. A lot of cops didn't feel like locking niggas up. But you got to make that quota to keep your job. You got to make that quota to keep your job. So for me, I see a lot of times it's less about the individual in the uniform and what the power the uniform grants you. The state should fear the people and not the other way around. And right now, we got that turned around, especially in communities that look like that.
Shout out Mr. Checkpoint and always film the police. Check him out, man.
Yeah, we shout him out from the stage, man. Shout out
to good little dude. 2020, you, Ryan Glover, and former mayor Andrew Young founded Greenwood.
Greenwood, yeah.
A banking system. Talk to us how that thought came about and where you guys currently are with the process.
Yeah, I want to hear about this.
Well, the cards are rolled out. So if you signed up, your card's going to be coming soon. Please use it. But in the fintech world, everything is coming here. Our kids listen to music here. My kids, PayPal, Cash App, and other fintech things. So Greenwood was a part of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where free blacks went. They built a thriving community themselves, and it was destroyed and encouraged the destruction by local municipalities and government. And it was this bank, in the spirit of doing for self, created a platform where working class folks, be you Black, Latino, poor and working class white people, it gives you an opportunity to have a real banking system in your hand, to have a real bank account. It's federally insured. It gives you an opportunity to build credit. It gives you an opportunity. They're going to roll out a loan system soon. And what it did was Andy went to India and he got a chance to see, instead of getting paid in paper, women get a card to be paid on. Whereas if they were cashing for paper, they would have punitive things, check cashing places, 20% you get charged. These women, because of the money they saved, were able to start saving silks, saving fabrics, making garments, just creating extra income for themselves and lifting themselves out of the dirt and wretched poverty. And this can happen here. If check cashing places aren't literally swiping and taking, you have an opportunity to save, to put away money. You have an opportunity as a single mother, a young father, the head of a family, to start to build your credit, to start to look toward ownership versus rental. So I just wanted to be a part of something that actually helped our people, help themselves. Because you can't save and charity us out of the hole we're in. There has to be some real economic interest and viability. That's why I believe in things like reparations. What'll they be? When do we get them? I don't know. But until then, what I do know is you can reparate yourself by spending less than you earn, by focusing on by ownership, by not having children before you're ready, by furthering your education, be that college or trade school, and by partnering with other people so that you're not taking all the financial risk yourself. And that's just common sense, working class shit.
Switching gears, do you keep up with the NBA?
Yeah, I like it, but I've been on the run, man. We've been rehearsing. I like my guys. I like the Hawks.
How you feel about Trey and the Hawks right now?
Man, I like Trey a lot. I like Collins a lot as well.
Think they gonna get out of this series?
If we don't get out of this series, we're gonna come out wiser and come back stronger. You know, I think that we're gonna become a better defensive team in the next couple of years. I think that Atlanta hasn't had a true superstar since Dominique. But I also would like to say, man, I want to tip my hat to a lot of old Hawks from, you know, Jamal just got out of there. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, Joe was amazing.
Josh.
You know what I'm saying? Josh, amazing. Atlanta and Hawks. So we've had a lot of people of good integrity. You know, Trey's something special. It's crazy. He can throw that thing over from anywhere.
He just needs a little help.
Yep, I agree. We mess around and get the right small 4-2 guard, and it's gonna go stupid.
So you do know you do know what you're talking about. There.
Yeah. I don't just get high and route.
Yeah. You said Kobe's your favorite player. You have any Kobe stories?
Okay, so Tip called me. He said, "Hey," I said, "What's up?" He said, "Fat boy, I'm in the studio. Kobe up here. Come meet him." I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." Because everybody who know me know, like, I really loved Kobe. You know what I mean? Really. So I get there, my wife with me, man. You know, I'm a very attractive wife, man. I married a girl looked like, man, a piece of carrot cake, man. She, you know what I mean? No surgery needed. She came already assembled, right? You know what I mean? I know she like tall nigga that can dunk, so I had to hate. You know what I'm saying? That's why she ain't here today. But listen, no man, especially you got that good house too, boy. Hell no.
I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, no. So we in that asking Kobe, man. I say, man, you finna retire? I say, dog, who I got to watch? I say, dog, I'm the dude in the room talking about, he better than anybody. Like, I'm that dude in the, and he said, man, I'm gonna tell you this kid I'm watching. He said he real thin, he's small though, if he can stay healthy. Now, for people who saw Kobe on TV, he had on a cape and a mask. But I'm sure you guys can test to this. When you seen him, he looked thin.
Yeah.
Like, not frail, but just like, man, I could knock this nigga out. Like, you know what I mean? Just
you can take him.
Yeah, like, he was thin. So I'm like, who the fuck is he talking about? Because I'm looking at him and I'm really tripping that he's not
huge.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, so it's I'm this much of a fan that I'm replaying plays in my head like, this motherfucker did that. And I'm a Latrell Sprewell fan too.
Yeah.
Now, Latrell has some size making the moves, but I'm just like, this nigga, compared to Latrell, he's not even that. And as I'm processing that, he says, man, it's this kid at Golden State, Steph Curry. And I said, who? And he said, Steph Curry. I said, I've seen him play. I say, but he the one? He said, I'm telling you, he the one. All he got to do is stay healthy. That day, start watching Steph. And he has never disappointed since. And that shit was like Yoda telling you about this kid named Luke. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's gonna walk the sky, trust me. So Kobe, man, meeting Kobe was a big deal. And then when it was time to take pictures, it was me, him, Tip, and my wife. Just like my wife smiled a little too hard. I said, you know that she really like LeBron. She don't really fuck. I hate it like LeBron. And she was pissed. So I was like, so? Hey. You know?
Right.
But he was such a, you know, he was really a, you know, I just believe in heroes. Like, I'm one of those, like, whether it's comic books or parables and stuff, I believe in heroes. And Kobe really was a hero to me.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
he was a guy who, no matter where you are in the Jordan debate, he had the audacity and the tenacity to want to be better than his master.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about that on some kung fu movie shit, you know, he wanted to be better than his master. That's you know, the type of self-discipline. Like, I'm still trying to have enough discipline just to do it every day at 8 in the morning. But the self-discipline it takes to want to be better than your idol. That's some you know, that's some Herculean shit.
Different shit, yeah.
And you know, when they asked MJ about it, he said the only person that can beat him probably is Kobe.
Yeah.
Because he steal all his moves.
That's it.
Who you got winning the championship? You think?
I don't know. I want my guys to win, of course. I know it's a long shot, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what though? If my guys aren't in it, I want to see Chris Paul walk.
Good call.
Like, I love Chris, man. And,
CP. Shout out CP.
Yeah, I hate it when the league blocked him from going out to play with Kobe, but I really think that he defines character.
Yeah.
Point guard.
And, you know what I mean? So, yeah, like, he is the point guard. You know, he makes the team better around him. He's clutch when he needs to be. And just, like, he reminds me of, Like when you watch those old tapes of Kareem in an interview or Jim in an interview, just once he done playing, the character, it's some grown man
on
shit.
and off the court, great leader.
Yeah, I really respect him. I'd like to see him get
That's
one.
my guy. Yeah.
You on the board of the High Museum of Art.
I am.
Talk about that. How did that become about?
Man, Rand Solfa, who is the director, and Fahamu Paku, who's an amazing artist, they approached me about it 3 years ago, and I agreed. And what was amazing is I came out of Frederick Douglass High School's arts and talent program. Little Yachty's father is a photographer who also comes out of that program. Little John is a person who comes out of that arts program. You know, so it's like it's a big deal because all our teachers wanted us to find something we could attach to and take us all the way, you know.
Right.
So getting an opportunity to be on the education board, not only just on the board, but on the committee that specifically deals with education, to make sure that a museum in a major metropolitan city that has an over 50% African-American participationship stays like that and grows, is just an amazing opportunity. And I think that, you know, you hear what rappers aren't doing from people complaining on a daily basis, but, you know, I think that's something to be celebrated, you know. And not only am I on the board of the High, I make sure my daughter goes to the Apex Museum and learns about African-American culture. I make sure when I'm in cities visiting, you know, we go to the museums. So I'm just a believer that the arts can inspire children. You know, if you want a cheap date or great outing as a parent, go to the museum. You know, take your date to the museum. You know, test out. Let that curly weave and them lashes be seen someplace artistic and take them babies there, man. And y'all just grab some hot wings afterwards, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You collect Hot Wheels.
I do.
Love for muscle cars.
Yeah, I love.
When did that start?
My grandma, I remember she would take me to Kmart when I was a kid, and if I ain't act no fool, I got a Hot Wheel.
Hot Wheel, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I act the fool, I got an ass whooping. So I figured the Hot Wheels was the easier way to go. But at my barbershop, when we first opened our shop on the south side on 3461 Roosevelt Highway in Atlanta, the old shop, the prior shop that had been there, hadn't left the best reputation. So when we were trying to attract new customers, I remember one day just sitting there, me and the barbers, I was like, man, I got an idea. I said, everybody give me $10. I ran to the dollar store, got Hot Wheels. And I said, all your kid customers, when you cut their hair, give them this at the end of the cut.
Dope.
I said, it's a $1 investment. It's going to bring you $9 every time. And after that, I just start flourishing, start growing. And then, you know, I love real muscle cars. So, you know, I put my cars in front of my shops. I just bought about 30,000 square foot warehouse space. We about to do something cool in the car world with that, you know, with this villain. So, you know, I love cars. I love going fast.
What's your favorite?
1987 Buick GNX is one of the ones I'm on. It's a $250,000 car now. But, you know, I'm gonna have one before I get out of here. And I think I'm gonna finally buy myself a Demon this year. Like I was thinking the other night. I was like, man, I could die. These kids and one, I'm gonna spend all this goddamn money. I still ain't gonna be done got my Demon.
You and Tip opening a restaurant?
Yeah, Bankhead Seafood, man.
Bankhead Seafood.
50-year-old restaurant. It was the oldest restaurant on that strip of Bankhead. Miss Helen Harden owned it from Mount Olive Baptist Church. Shouts out to Miss Harden. And we bought it. Tip called me like, you say we want to do something together, let's do it. We got it. We done went through a lot of ups and downs getting cleared. We done went through a lot of fights. But man, it's coming, and I'm proud of us, you know.
See, I've been in Atlanta a long time. See, it's Hollowell now. Yeah. It ain't Bankhead. See, I've been in Atlanta that long. Yeah. It's Bankhead. I've been, you know what I'm saying, on the west side. It ain't Bankhead no more. All the projects and all that knocked down now. You know what I mean? But you got to be from the A to know that.
Yeah, you do. Now, we caught some hell, too. I want to tell athletes and entertainers, man, like, and the lawyers out there, and, you know, in the cities, that we need to start sitting down with some committees and figuring out, to me, in cities, especially through the South, your athletes and your entertainers should be looked at as a wave of potential business people. And if we partner with them, then we have an opportunity to build businesses into communities and brands that are gonna be better. We got a lot of pushback from people who weren't legacy restaurants in the community at some point. Really? The legacy people, the people that have been there 50, 60 years, was like, we proud of y'all. Like the community literally raised you guys, y'all doing this. And then we got some pushback from other places because of rappers, because of reputation, because of other things. And I just thought that was shameful because in my opinion, when people are heroes from a local place, whether it's the athletes that are brought there to perform athletics or the people that grow out of there and perform music, if cities and private sector partner with these people, and you create a business class and an economic class that creates jobs and creates more opportunity, you create stronger cities, you create stronger economics. And I think that we have the potential, again, to create more Jamal Mashburns, more Magic Johnsons, more Shaquille O'Neals. And if we do that, we'll hear less stories of who lost it all, and we hear less complaints of what rappers aren't doing. But that only happens when everybody buys into it and everybody does it. So, I want to challenge people to do what Atlanta is doing, because it seems to me that people in Atlanta are cooperating in the way that Andrew Young wanted us to.
2 Chainz doing a great job.
He's doing an amazing job. Him and his business partner Snoop.
Yeah,
shouts out to them. Jeezy, amazing job. So I'm happy to see, even if you look at, man, what Gucci's been able to do in terms of record deals for people. Like, people have been really, really generous with the opportunity. What Thug has been able to do with opportunity people, and the people that he's helped now opening, Baby's opening restaurants. So for me, man, I just want to see more and more in the plethora of that. And I want to see it in other cities. I want to see it in Memphis. I want to see it in Dallas. I want to see it in Houston. I want to see it in Austin. I want to see it in places so that there's a whole new 50-year economy that's created around it. Like, people see this side of the camera, it's 3 people talking who entertain y'all. But on the other side of this camera, there are dozens of people that are making this happen. So that's a bigger economy. And I think that when this country understands, especially when the African American community is strong economically, the entire country is strong economically.
That's to me, that's our Achilles heel. And like you said, it's getting better, but we never learned to do this. We've always been fighting for ourselves and surviving. So it never thought to come together. Together, we're so much stronger.
So much stronger.
But they got to do it, like you said, they got to do it in the hometowns like where we from. Because perfect example, Bun in Houston. Yeah. They show Bun the love in Houston that Port Arthur should be showing him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For what he do. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why people go elsewhere, because they get more love and appreciation from other places than where they come from.
But it's amazing, because it comes back, because Bun is he inspired you. Yeah. You inspiring someone. Yeah. The legacy continues. Right. If you don't have Big Boy, one half of OutKast from Savannah, do you get camouflage? Do you get a growing, music scene in Savannah there? So for me, man, I just say, man, if you escaping small towns in your mind, don't forget to go back and glean some inspiration. Don't forget to, like, Edrin James is one of my heroes forever, because he has never left. He's always planning and inspired. Whether it was he talked about the activity center he started. 3 guys who play in the pros now came through that center. Man, come on, man. That's his own private YMCA. You know what I mean? That's a beautiful thing. What Uncle Luke has been able to do with football in South Florida. Yeah. Forget what he did. We often forget what we did, rather, in terms of protecting our First Amendment rights in the 90s. But the amount of young men whose life he's touched through athletics and just, and with athletics, you had to be doing good in school, just making sure credible young men fit to marry, are going out. What Snoop has been able to do. So I just applaud us, man. And I think the more we grow, because we only been free 60 years. Right. I only had 60 years of freedom. So, when you think about it, that's not a very long time.
That's not long.
So don't be too hard on ourselves. Let's support the things that we know are going to grow, like Viola. Yeah. And let's keep pushing. Shouts out to Al.
Definitely. Man, we appreciate your time. We got quick hitters. First thing to come to mind, let us know, but I'm going to let you start.
Okay.
If you could be remembered by any bar or lyric that you ever dropped, what would it be?
Oh, man. I would say the first verse of Untitled, you are witnessing elegance in the form of a black elephant, smoking white rhino on terraces. Will I die slain like my king by a terrorist? Will my woman be Coretta, take my name and cherish it? Or will she Jackie O, drop the Kennedy, remarry it? My sister say it's necessary on some Cleopatra shit. I tend to agree because the thought is so disparaging. My grandmother says no, never that is sacrilege. Then I say, no, I tend to agree because the thought is so disparaging. The Lord give a load, you got to carry it like Mary did. That's why I'm giving honor to all these baby mamas. It takes a woman's womb to make a Christ a Dalai Lama. The world might take that child, turn that child into a monster. The world might take that child, turn that child into a monster. The Lord will take a monster and fashion him a saint. I present you Malcolm X for those that saying that he can't, saying that he won't, when I know he will. But you usually don't know it's you until you being killed.
For real.
That was my thoughts of what I thought Dr. King would be thinking as he laid that down.
That's tough. I'm going to put you on the spot right here. You guys have your own unique sound out there in Atlanta. Who is your Mount Rushmore of Atlanta artists?
Oh boy, it'll be 100 people on there. We ain't just putting 4 heads, man. The whole mountain gonna look like a big super face. Yeah. But I will say I'm honored to be on the cover of that Slam magazine. Yeah. But they put us on there like a basketball team. They had me down there looking like a power forward. I got a weight loss goal now. So.
Young Barkley, man. Including your body of work, one album you can listen to from top to bottom, no skips.
Excluding my body of work?
Yep.
Oh, man. Any and every Scarface album.
I'm gonna go with my favorite Scarface album is The Fix.
He always says that. I argue with him. Mine is, I would say, man, Made is potentially mine.
Yeah, Made.
One quote you live by.
Man, do what you want to do because you're going to wake up dead one day.
Do what you want to do because you're going to wake up dead one day. Man, that's solid.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
Deep conversation, some good tree.
Let's see.
Some drinks.
Say dead or alive, I go Dr. King, Frederick Douglass, Eugene Debs, Patrice Lumumba, and Zora Neale Hurston.
3 women at the table,
Well, Zora was the only one, but I think she's just tough as shit. We'd all be mostly listening to her. And she wrote like a Floridian, so I just love to hear her talk country. Yeah.
Last question. If you could see one guest on All the Smoke on the show, who would it be? But before you answer, you have to help us get your answer on the show.
Oh, man, I just called Joe Rogan and tell him he need to do y'all show.
Yeah, what he need to do is, too.
We need that. He's about to call him right now.
Joe Rogan. Come on with it, Joe Rogan.
I'll see if he'll answer. Let's see.
We can't turn that down.
Don't get no ready to kill him. Mike pick up the phone. Oh, yeah, Joe Rogan? Yeah, let me call him right quick.
Let me see. I got to see. I mean, he might be working.
Tell Joe we Joe Rogan, a sports podcast. You know what I mean? Shit.
Let's see you, Joe.
Come on here and smoke a joint with us. Talk about when he said nigga.
Oh, man. Joe done killed us, man.
Working.
Damn, Joe.
So I can ask him
but I'll ask Joe. I'd love to see y'all talk to Joe.
So I can ask him if he say nigga or nigger. Which one did you say?
Don't
nigga?
do that to Joe. Joe done apologize. Listen, I want to say this for him gone. I be tripping because white folks ain't got we used to be taught that the term cracker came from a whip cracker that black people made up, but we didn't make that up. Real white folks made up nigga and cracker. When I say real white folks, see, a lot of folks, if you know about Atlanta, you know about Cabbagetown. Cabbagetown, they gentrified before they gentrified in the black neighborhoods. Cabbagetown was all white neighborhoods, all poor working class white folks. And the mills would bring them up and use them, pay them in meal money, overcharge them at the store. That means they didn't pay them in American money. They paid them in like a food stamp. So the first people to get gentrified and pushed out the city weren't even black. They was white, but they was poor. They put them out in 95, 96, pushed them further down to Clayton County, places like that. But the term cracker comes from the master class in the South. These real white folks, the folks that was related to the folks they was breaking away from. So the people that first took the 13 colonies and shit, a lot of them was cousins to royalty and shit. They just weren't high enough on the royalty ladder. So they was still getting shitted on, so they just found them another land to take. They like, we far enough away from a military standpoint. Y'all got to cross this ocean. We got most sniper rifles because we armed. Fuck y'all. You know what I mean? We took it. But crackers was a term given to those people who weren't cosmopolitan. They weren't very learned. They were gypsy-esque life moved around. So white folks named y'all crackers. The same white folks that named us niggas. And the thing they had in common is they used cheap and free labor from niggas and crackers. And because niggas and crackers been fighting so long from everywhere to South Mississippi, East Alabama, West Georgia, niggas and crackers predominantly have stayed poor. In places like Mississippi, places like Alabama, and now the federal government and local municipalities fight over slave labor to see who's gonna cut the grass for free because niggas and crackers still fighting against one another, but we both doing that, fighting for the people that named us both. And that's the real white folk, or what they would call the planter class. So that's just for y'all niggas and crackers to know something. I love y'all. Y'all have a good day.
Man, that's a wrap, man.
Thank y'all so
Killer
much,
Mike, man. We appreciate you,
y'all
man.
so much, man.
You can catch this on Showtime Basketball, YouTube, and the iHeart platform, Black Effects, man. We'll see y'all next week.
I came here because my choice was simple. Live or die.
My species is dying.
Why are you telling me this?
You are vital to the mission.
Go. Take him. Now.